We're starting in a grimy back alley where money changes hands and crowds scream over an illegal robot fight. A hulking bot tears its opponent limb from limb, and its owner, a mountain of a man named Yama, laughs as he collects his winnings. Then a small voice cuts through the noise. Can I try? Enter Hiro Hamada. 14 years old, messy hair, gap-toothed grin, holding what looks like a flimsy toy robot with a goofy smiley face. Yama laughs him off, but Hiro flashes a wad of cash and the fight is on. Round 1. Hiro's little bot, Megabot, gets decapitated in seconds. Hiro plays the innocent kid. Can we go again? I'll pay double. Yama, smelling easy money, agrees. And that's when the hustle drops. Hiro's face changes, the smiley bot flips to an angry red face, and Megabot reassembles itself, because it was never broken. Controlled by Hiro's magnetic controller, the little bot dismantles Yama's monster piece by piece and holds its severed head up like a trophy. Hiro sweeps the whole pot. Yama does not take this well. His goons corner Hiro in the alley, and just as things are about to get ugly, a moped screeches in. It's Tadashi, Hiro's older brother, who yanks him aboard and tears off through the streets with Yama's gang in pursuit. The escape works, right up until they run into the police. Both brothers end up behind bars. They're bailed out by their Aunt Cass, the warm, frazzled cafe owner who's raised them since their parents died 10 years ago. She stress eats a donut while lecturing them, and back home above the Lucky Cat Cafe, Tadashi looks at his little brother, a kid who graduated high school at 13 and is now burning his genius on back alley bot fights, and decides to try something. He tells Hiro he needs to swing by his university before Hiro's next bot fight. It's a trick, and it's the best trick in the movie because Tadashi's nerd school, the San Fransokyo Institute of Technology, turns out to be a wonderland. Hiro meets the lab crew one by one. Gogo Tamago, a no-nonsense speed junkie building an electromagnetic suspension bike, who pops her gum and tells him to woman up. Wasabi, a big, meticulous, neat freak slicing apples into paper with plasma blades. Honey Lemon, a bubbly chemistry whiz who turns a ball of tungsten carbide into pink dust with a single spritz. And Fred, not a student at all, just the school mascot who hangs around asking if anyone can turn him into a fire-breathing lizard. Hey, he's not a scientist, but he knows what he likes. Then Tadashi shows Hiro his own project. He tapes his arm shut, winces, ow, and from a red case in the corner, something inflates. A huge, marshmallow-soft vinyl robot waddles out and says, in the gentlest voice imaginable, "Hello, I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion." Baymax scans Tadashi, treats his arm, and explains he cannot deactivate until his patient says they are satisfied with their care. Tadashi built him to help people. That's the whole dream. And then Hiro meets the man behind it all. Professor Robert Callaghan, a legend in robotics, the guy who invented the very tech Hiro uses in his bot fights. When Callaghan casually mentions that bot fighting must be easy for a kid with real talent, Hiro's whole world flips. He has to get into this school. There's one way in, the annual student showcase. Impress Callaghan, get admitted. Hiro hits a wall immediately, no ideas. So Tadashi grabs him by the ankles, dangles him upside down, and gives him the advice that becomes the spine of this entire movie. Look for a new angle. It works. Hiro spends weeks building his masterpiece, microbots. Thousands of tiny robots that link together into anything you can imagine, controlled entirely by a neural transmitter headband. Think it, and they build it. At the showcase, Hiro's presentation brings the house down. Microbots swarm into towers, bridges, machines. The crowd is stunned, and so is Alistair Cray, the smiling tech billionaire behind Crytek, who immediately offers to buy the whole thing. But Callaghan steps in with a warning. Cray cuts corners. He's not a man to trust with your life's work. Hiro turns Cray down, and Callaghan hands him an admission letter. He's in. Outside, Tadashi and Hiro share a moment on a footbridge. For the first time, Hiro thanks his brother for not giving up on him, and then someone screams. The showcase hall is on fire. In the chaos, a woman tells them Professor Callaghan is still inside, and Tadashi, because he's Tadashi, runs toward the building. Hiro grabs his arm, and Tadashi says his last words. Callaghan's in there. Someone has to help. He runs into the flames. The building explodes. Cut to a funeral, rain, and a quiet room above the cafe. Weeks pass. Hiro doesn't go to school. He doesn't answer his friends' messages. He sits alone in his room, until one day he drops something, stubs his toe, and says, ow. The red case in the corner inflates. Baymax squeezes his way through the clutter, tilts his head, and asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your pain? What follows is one of the great comedy stretches in modern animation. Baymax diagnosing Hiro with puberty, offering pamphlets, misunderstanding everything, but it pivots on a dime. Because Baymax scans Hiro and finds the real injury isn't physical. His diagnosis, grief. His treatment plan, contact with friends and loved ones. Then Hiro notices something impossible. The single microbot left in his hoodie pocket is twitching, straining against its petri dish, trying to go somewhere. Hiro dismisses it. Baymax, programmed to heal his patient, does not. The big vinyl robot simply walks out of the house, holding the petri dish like a compass, and Hiro has to chase his 6-foot marshmallow through the streets of San Fransokyo, squeezing through crowds, riding a trolley, deflating and reinflating through a window, all the way to an abandoned warehouse. Inside, they find something that should not exist. Production lines churning out microbots by the thousands. Hiro's invention, which supposedly burned in the fire, is being mass-produced. And then, the swarm rises. Riding on top of it, a man in a black coat and a white and red kabuki mask. He hurls a wave of microbots at them, and Hiro and Baymax barely escape. Hiro tumbling, Baymax gently deflating through a window like a beach ball with a dream. The police are useless. Try explaining a masked man with a robot swarm to a desk sergeant while your inflatable companion patches himself with scotch tape. So Hiro connects the dots himself. The fire wasn't an accident. Someone stole his microbots and burned the showcase to cover it up, which means that man in the mask is the reason Tadashi is dead. Hiro makes a decision. He upgrades Baymax, downloads a database of karate moves onto a new chip, slots it in next to Tadashi's green healthcare chip, and wraps the soft robot in carbon fiber armor, rocket punches, roundhouse kicks. Baymax patiently learns it all, though he does ask whether any of this will improve Hiro's emotional state. They track the microbot signal to the docks, and mid-stakeout, the rest of the gang shows up. Turns out Baymax secretly contacted them because his treatment plan said Hiro needed his friends. And right on cue, the masked man, Fred, dubs him Yokai, attacks. What follows is a frantic car chase through San Fransokyo in Wasabi's immaculate little car, Yokai surfing a tidal wave of microbots, Wasabi stopping at red lights mid-chase, and Gogo finally spitting out her gum, taking the wheel, and showing everyone what woman up means. The chase ends with the car plunging into the bay, and Baymax, armor jettisoned, floating everyone to safety as a big warm pool toy. Soaked and rattled, they need a hideout, and Fred offers his place, which turns out to be a literal mansion, complete with a butler named Heathcliff. Yes, Fred is secretly rich. Nobody can believe it either. Here, Hiro has his big idea. They can't outrun Yokai, so they'll stop him, all of them. He builds each friend a supersuit based on their own tech. Gogo gets maglev discs to skate and throw, Wasabi gets plasma blades on his arms, Honey Lemon gets a chemical purse that prints custom weapon balls, Fred finally gets his dream, a bouncing, fire-breathing kaiju suit, and Baymax gets the works, Baymax 2.0, a gleaming red battlesuit with a rocket fist, thrusters, and wings. The first flight is a disaster of crashed launches and knocked over lampposts, until suddenly it isn't. Baymax and Hiro rocket over the city, skimming the bay, weaving between skyscrapers, riding the wind past those floating turbines as the sun sets. Hiro whoops with pure joy, and for the first time since Tadashi died, he's actually alive. They land on a turbine balloon high above the city, and Baymax, reading his patient, notes that his treatment is working. Baymax's new scanner can now sweep the entire city. The scan pings one location, Akuma Island, a quarantined rock offshore. The team flies out and finds an abandoned lab plastered with government warnings and security footage of something called Project Silent Sparrow. The footage shows Alistair Cry, years ago, testing a teleportation portal for the military. A human test pilot enters the first gate, and the portal destabilizes. Cray, warned of problems, pushed ahead anyway. The pilot was lost. The whole facility was shut down and buried. So that's the theory. Cray is Yokai, stealing Hiro's microbots to rebuild his portal. Case closed. Right? Wrong. Yokai attacks, and in the brawl, Gogo's disc knocks the kabuki mask loose. It clatters across the floor, the microbots collapse, and the man looks up. It's Professor Callaghan. He never died in the fire. He stole Hiro's microbots and shielded himself with them while the building burned. And when Hiro, voice shaking, says Tadashi died going in to save him, Callaghan delivers the cruelest line in the movie. That was his mistake. Something in Hiro snaps. He opens Baymax's access port and rips out the green healthcare chip, Tadashi's chip, leaving only the combat programming. Baymax's eyes turn cold, and he becomes what a weapon looks like, unstoppable, merciless, tearing through the team as they throw themselves between him and Callaghan. Honey Lemon barely manages to slam the healthcare chip back in as Baymax's fist stops an inch from Callaghan's face. Baymax comes back to himself, horrified. Callaghan escapes, and Hiro, furious that his friend stopped him, flies home alone. In the garage, Hiro tries to rip the healthcare chip out again, and Baymax refuses. He closes his access port, holds his ground, and asks the question Hiro can't answer. Will terminating Callaghan bring Tadashi back? Hiro breaks. He screams that Tadashi's gone, and Baymax quietly says, Tadashi is here, and plays his memory banks. Test footage. 84 failed experiments. Tadashi, exhausted, laughing, celebrating the moment Baymax first worked, saying he can't wait for his little brother to meet him, saying he's going to help so many people. Hiro finally cries, And when the team arrives, he apologizes, and they show him what they found on the island. The test pilot who vanished into the portal was Abigail Callaghan, the professor's daughter. This was never about the microbots. It's a grieving father's revenge on Alistair Cray. And Callaghan makes his move at the grand opening of Crytek's new campus. He seizes Cry, rebuilds the portal above the building, and turns it on, intent on making Cry watch everything he's built get devoured into the sky before sending Cry in after it. The team arrives, and things go badly fast, each of them pinned, buried, and overwhelmed by microbots, until Hiro's voice cuts through with Tadashi's old advice: look for a new angle. Use those big brains, and the tide turns. Wasabi stops swinging wildly and starts slicing with precision. Honey Lemon cocoons herself in shifting chemical shields. Fred turns his signs into a spinning shredder. Gogo becomes a human buzzsaw. And Hiro and Baymax stop fighting the swarm and start feeding it, knocking masses of microbots up into the portal's suction until Callaghan's swarm literally runs out from under him. The mask comes off. It's over. But the portal is still up there, tearing itself apart. As Cry begs someone to shut it down, Baymax's sensor pings. There's a life sign inside the portal. A woman, in hypersleep. Abigail, still alive in her pod, all these years later. Hiro doesn't hesitate. Someone has to help. His brother's words. He and Baymax dive into the portal, a dreamlike void of drifting debris, find the pod, and race back toward the shrinking exit. Then a chunk of wreckage slams into Baymax, destroying his thrusters. They're adrift with one rocket fist left, and Baymax does the math out loud. He can propel Hiro and Abigail to safety. He cannot come with them. Hiro refuses. And Baymax, gentle to the last, says the only thing that can make Hiro let go. Are you satisfied with your care? Through tears, hugging the big vinyl body one last time. I'm satisfied with my care. The fist fires, Hiro and Abigail rocket through the closing portal, and Baymax vanishes as it collapses behind them. Abigail is rushed to safety, alive. Callaghan is arrested and gets one last devastated look at the daughter he burned the world down to avenge. Time passes. Hiro enrolls at SFIT, taking over Tadashi's old lab station. And one day, unpacking, he looks at Baymax's rocket fist, the one that saved his life, and notices something clutched in its fingers, the green healthcare chip, Tadashi's programming. Baymax held onto it because Baymax always had a plan to keep helping. Hiro builds a new body, slots in the chip, and hello, I am Baymax. The team stays together, protecting San Fransokyo as the heroes Tadashi inspired them to be. Big Hero 6. And if you stay past the credits, Fred leans on a portrait in his mansion, discovers a hidden superhero lair, and gets one last surprise: his dad, voiced by Stan Lee himself. We have a lot to talk about.